Friends, welcome to Social Science online classes. In this session, you are going to learn History second chapter, that is Medieval India and Political Transition. In this chapter, you are going to learn the Rajput dynasties that ruled in North India, the contributions of Rajput kings to literature, art and architecture, the arrival of Turks, the impact of Muhammad Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori invasions, the establishment of Delhi Sultanate, their administration, and their contribution. Now we shall discuss the chapter in detail. Medieval India and political transition. What do you mean by transition then? Transition means the change that took place. It means we are going to study the political changes that took place in medieval India. Okay, that is the lesson medieval India and political transition. The period between second half of the 12th century and the first half of the 13th century is recognized as the transitional period in Indian history. What it is? That is the second half of the 13th century and the first, that is the second half of the 12th century and the first half of the 13th century is recognized as the transitional period. Transitional period shows the preparedness of the society that enter from one era to another era. What it is? Transitional period, it indicates the preparedness of the society entering from one era to another era. During this period, in this transitional period, the Indian society entered from ancient period to medieval period. Okay, during the transitional period, the Indian society entered medieval period from the ancient period. The Turks broke the political system of small kingdoms. What happened during this period? The Turks broke the political system of small kingdoms. Further, with the influence of Islam religion, the principles of monotheism was presented. Before the Turks came to India, before the Turks came to India, or before the establishment of Turks empire in India, there were many small ruling kingdoms. There were many small kings ruling their kingdom. That is, before the Turks came to India or before the establishment of Turks empire in India, there were many small kings ruling their kingdom. This rule of small kings is called as the multi-state political system. What it was called as? It was called as the multi-state. It was called as the multi-state political system. Okay. So, the small kings. The rule of small kings is called as the multi-state political system. The study of a multi-state political system can be started with the study of Rajput dynasties that ruled the western and northern India from 9th century to 13th centuries. So there were different Rajput dynasties which ruled the western and the northern India from 13th century, from 9th century to 13th century. So now Rajput dynasties that ruled western and northern India from 9th century to 13th century. Okay, so these all developments, that is the principles, explanation of principle of monotheism, explanation of the principles of monotheism, these all developments indicates the beginning of medieval period in India. Okay, now let's study about the Rajput dynasties. Rajput dynasties. After the rule of Vardhanas of Sthanavishwara. See, after the rule of Vardhanas of Sthanavishwara, most of the western and northern India was ruled by Gurjara Pratiharas, Chandelas of Bundelkhand, Gharwalas, Solankis, Paramars, and many other Rajput dynasties. See here, Rajput dynasties. After the rule of Vardhanas of Sthanavishwara, most of the western and the northern India was ruled by Gurjara Pratiharas, Bundelkhunds, Chandelas, and Gharwalas, Solankis, and Parmars, and many other Rajput dynasties. By the end of a 12th century, by the end of a 12th century, Rajput kings like Prithviraj Chauhan, Jayachandra Gharwal, and Paramavira Deva Chandela, Paramardi Deva Chandela were the powerful kings of northern India. Who were the powerful kings of Rajput dynasties? Prithviraj Chauhan, Jayachandra Gharwal, Paramardi Deva Chandela were the powerful kings of northern India. Okay. Now let's study these dynasties one by one in detail. The first dynasty, that is the first Rajput dynasties that ruled the country, was Gurjara Pratiharas. The founder of this dynasty was Nagabhatta, but the Pratiharas have stated in many of their inscriptions that Lakshmana of Ramayana period, who belonged to Kshatriyas of Sunsha, was the founding person of their family. What it is? The Pratiharas have claimed that Lakshmana of Ramayana period, who belonged to Kshatriyas of Suravansha, was the founding person of their family. But as per the available sources, Nagabhatta is the founder of Gurjara Pratihara dynasty. Okay, the Pratiharas established their power over Sindh region and made Kanauj as their capital city. During the period of Pratiharas, the Arabs frequently attacked Sindh region. Okay, so here the Pratiharas established their power over Sindh region and made Kanauj as their capital. During the rule of Pratiharas, the Arabs frequently attacked Sindh region. So the Pratiharas fought back the frequent Arab attacks. Okay. Miraboja. Miraboja and Mahendrapala were the powerful rulers of this dynasty. Who were the powerful? The most powerful rulers of this dynasty were Mihiraboja and Mahendrapala. They defeated the Palas of Bengal and extended their kingdom till Bengal. Okay, the two powerful rulers of this dynasty were Mihiraboja and Mahendrapala. They defeated the Palas of Bengal and extended their kingdom till an Arab traveler named Sulaiman visited the court of Mihiraboja and appreciated the kingdom as it had peace. Pratihara's rule declined. The Pratihara's rule declined during the rule of Mahipala. Mahipala was the son of Mahendrapala. The next Rajput dynasty was Gharwalas. Chandradeva was the founder of Garhwala dynasty. Who was the founder of Garhwala dynasty? Chandradeva was the founder of Garhwala dynasty. He ruled the northern India and his capital was Varanasi. Which was the capital city of Garhwalas? Varanasi was the capital of Garhwalas. Govinda Chandra. Govinda Chandra is the another important ruler of this dynasty. The famous kings of this dynasty was Govinda Chandra. Then he extended his rule till Malwa and Magadha by defeating Palas. Okay, Govinda Chandra extended his rule till Malwa and Magadha by defeating Palas. He also defeated the kings of Kalinga and Odisha. The rulers, the rulers of Kashmir, Gujarat and Chola relationship with Govinda Chandra. The next dynasty is Parmars. Parmars came to fame after the decline of Pratiharas. The founder of this dynasty was Upendra Krishna. Upendra Krishna Raja. The founder of Parmars dynasty was Upendra Krishna Raja. His capital was Dharanagar. The capital of Parmar dynasty was the famous king of this dynasty was Bhoja. The last king of this dynasty was Arjuna Varman. Parmars. See, Upendra Krishna, who was the founder of Parmar dynasty, was the subordinate king of Rashtrakutas. Dharanagar was their capital. Bhoja was the most popular king of Parmar dynasty. He extended the Parmara state by defeating Kalyani Chalukyas, Gangas of Kalinga and northern Konkans. Later, he was defeated by Chalukyas. Though Bhoja experienced ups and downs in political sphere, he remained undefeated in the area of literature. He himself was a poet, as the kings who came after him were weak. The Parmar dynasty declined due to the inefficient successors of this Bhoja. Okay, now the next dynasty is Solankis. Let's see the founder of this dynasty. Moola Raja was the founder of Solanki dynasty. The founder of Solanki dynasty was Moola Raja. Their capital was Anilwada. Famous kings Bhima I, Moola Raja II and Veera Dhavala. And the last king of this dynasty was Karnadeva. Come, let's study it in detail. The Solankis. Moola Raja I is the founder of this dynasty. Though Bhima I was the most famous king of this dynasty, he could not protect Somnath temple from Ghazni's invasion. After Bhima I, Moola Raja II and Veera Dhavala were capable kings. Moola Raja II defeated Muhammad Ghazni near Mount Abu. During the rule of this dynasty, the famous Jain scholar Hemachandra composed a Prakrit dictionary named Deshi Mala. This dictionary was composed in a Prakrit language. Okay. Ulaf Khan and Nusrat Khan. Okay, later what happened? Later, the military generals of Allahuddin Khilji, that is Ulaf Khan and Nusrat Khan, defeated Karnadeva and made the kingdom of Solankis as a part of Delhi Sultanate. Okay, this is what about the Solankis. The next Rajput dynasty is Chandelas. The founder of Chandela dynasty. The founder of Chandela dynasty was Nannuka. What was his name? The founder of Chandela dynasty was Nannuka. The founder of Chandela dynasty was Nannuka. Their capital city was Khajuraho Mahoba. The famous king of this dynasty was Dhanga. The last king of this dynasty was Veeravarman. Chandelas. In the beginning, Chandelas were the feudatory kings of Pratiharas. Who were they? They were the feudatory kings of Pratiharas. Danga is the most famous king of Chandelas who prospered in Bundelkhand. After the decline of Parmars, Danga declared himself independent. After the decline of Parmars, Danga declared himself as an independent ruler. He took hold of eastern part of Parmar kingdom and extended his kingdom by defeating Pala and Adras. Danga had the title of Maharajadi Raja. What he had the title? The Ganga had title of Maharajadi Raja. It means the king of kings. He extended his military support to Hindu Shahi king Jayapala to fight back attacking Turks. Okay, but finally, due to the internal conflicts and lack of unity among the Rajputs, Khilji sultans conquered this kingdom. Okay, now coming to the next dynasty of Rajput, that is Chauhans. The founder of Chauhan dynasty was Vigraha Raja II. Capital city was Ajmer. Famous kings of this dynasty were Ajay Raja, Vigraha Raja IV, and Prithvi Raja III. The last king of this Chavan dynasty was Prithvi Raja III, Prithviraj Chavan. He is famously known as Prithviraj Chavan. The Chauhan dynasty is the most important among the Rajput's dynasties. Okay, the root of this dynasty is visible during 7th century. The dynasty started its rule in Ajmer region of Rajasthan. The dynasty started its rule in Ajmer region of Rajasthan. The rulers of this dynasty, Ajay Raja, Vigraha Raja IV, and Prithvi Raja III, made Chauhans the famous rulers of the Western India during 12th century. Prithviraj Chauhan, who was known for his bravery, Chandela Khan gaining Mahiba and Kalinjar. Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori at Tarain. Ghori wanted to extend his Ghor kingdom towards in the region. Muhammad Ghori, who was severely wounded in the battle, returned to Ghor, and very next year he led another attack towards Delhi. Okay, see Muhammad Ghori, who was severely wounded in the battle, he went back to Ghor, and very next year, what he did? Very next year, he led another attack towards Delhi. He defeated Prithviraj Chauhan at Tarain, the very place of a previous battle. Means a place, a battle in the place where Prithviraj Chauhan had defeated or wounded Muhammad Ghori. In the same place, Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj Chauhan at Tarain, the very place of a previous battle. Prithviraj Chauhan Prithviraj Chauhan is an embodiment of Rajput valor and bravery. That is, is an Prithviraj Chauhan is an epitome or the perfect example of Rajput's courage and bravery. Okay, students. Now we shall wind up the session here. In this session, we discussed the different Rajput dynasties that ruled the western and northern India from 9th century to 13th century. In the next session, we shall come up with the other topic of the same chapter. Thank you and have a good day.